Noah had only been asleep only a few minutes, but sleep was not what his drained and depleted body needed right now. He sat up straight, closed his eyes, and like a saint meditating in the forest, he began taking slow and deliberate breaths. Noah's ancestors had been hunters for generations. His family didn't have much to pass down, except only for an earthcaster dagger, and this meditation technique. Its greatest benefit was enhancing one's senses and accelerating stamina recovery, perfect for hunting in the forest. But where his ancestors had learned this from was unknown. Slowly he started feeling that his aching mind and body were beginning to heal, and then suddenly, he heard a muffled explosion in the distance. Noah woke up with a start, leapt to his feet in one swift move, and glanced around. But nothing seemed to be out of place. The mountains remained as before, a vast expanse under a gentle breeze, the air especially fresh after the heavy rain, leaving one feeling relaxed and cheerful. Noah looked up at the sun high in the sky, certain it was no illusion. Thunderstorms were impossible on a sunny day like this one. An explosion was the only explanation. Spirits greatly lifted by this thought, Noah quickly shouldered the backpack, grabbed the machete, and scanned the surroundings with a steely gaze, waiting for another explosion to ring out. Thanks to his family's traditional breath technique, the brief rest had fully restored strength and energy, making Noah look lively and vigorous once more. And just like that, another blast rumbled faintly in the distance. Noah keenly sensed the direction from which the explosion originated, deep within the distant mountains. Overjoyed, he took off running, thankful for the lead. Thinking of his comrades' gruesome deaths filled Noah with strength, and he ran like the wind, climbing over one mountain after another, traversing ridges and crossing valleys. An hour later, the explosion stopped, and Noah reached a hillside to survey his surroundings. Endless mountains stretched in every direction with no sign of human habitation. In the distance lay a dense forest, its towering trees reaching for the sky. Seeing this familiar yet foreign wilderness, Noah grew disheartened. These vast mountains belonged to the neighboring country. Where would he find the murderer? If he went the wrong way, not only would he be wasting precious time and effort, he would also miss the best chance to pursue the killer. What should he do? Images of his comrades' tragic deaths flooded his mind, leaving Noah's face etched with sorrow and helplessness. Just then, Noah turned to see an eagle soaring into the clouds and a flock of birds bursting out from the towering trees of the forest, frantically flying upwards. Witnessing this scene, Noah's spirits lifted. Startled birds only meant one thing. Someone was present in that vicinity. A faint explosion echoed from within, and his suspicion was confirmed. Elated, Noah charged towards the depths of the forest without considering the potential dangers. Once inside, he drew upon his hunting experience to search for clues. Broken branches, trampled ground, disturbed bark, all valuable leads. While he was deciphering a clue in the soil, another explosion rang out ahead. Noah sprinted forward, faintly hearing the whoosh of bullets tearing through the air. "There's a battle up ahead," he said to himself, quickening his pace as gunshots grew louder, occasionally punctuated by the blast of a grenade. Running through the forest was an exhausting feat, but fortunately the towering trees blocked out most of the sunlight with their dense canopy. The lack of light meant few shrubs or weeds grew on the forest floor, leaving only thick layers of dead leaves covering the massive exposed tree roots. The air was permeated with the stench of rotting foliage and muck. After heavy rains, the depths of the forest were far from the picturesque beauty one might imagine from the outside. But for Noah, who was accustomed to the jungle, this was nothing. Since the age of 10, Noah had accompanied his elders on treks deep into the forest that lasted over 2 weeks at a time. Noah felt right at home in the woods. Leaping nimbly over obstacles like an agile monkey, Noah raced through the undergrowth at breakneck speed. After about 10 minutes, the sounds of fighting ahead ceased. Even though he had no combat experience, Noah's instincts told him to slow down. The eerie silence was very suspicious, and he knew it would be dangerous to proceed further. Carefully observing the surroundings, Noah crept on tiptoe to hide behind a large tree. Once certain the coast was clear, Noah darted to the next tree to continue surveilling the area. Growing up, Noah had witnessed the brutal slaughter of animals and the gruesome deaths of uncles and cousins at the claws and fangs of ferocious beasts while hunting. Death was not a new concept to him. But life was precious. Staying alive was the only way to avenge fallen brothers. The closer Noah got, the more cautious each step became. Before long, a body came into view, face down on the ground. The back of the skull and shoulders were drenched in blood, with half the head blown clean off, undoubtedly dead. The corpse wore a peculiar camouflage uniform, forest green adorned with patches of yellow, brown, and black that blended seamlessly into the natural environment. If not for the massive head wound, the body would have been nearly invisible. Noah warily approached and flipped the body over. Its wide, unblinking eyes were showing a stubborn unwillingness to die and a desperate yearning for life. Beside him lay an impressive-looking high-end weapon, resembling a sniper rifle. There was no other identification on it. Noah picked up the gun to examine it. Since childhood, Noah was more accustomed to the simple earthcaster dagger used for hunting. During his training days, opportunities to handle firearms were few and far between, because ammunition was in such short supply. At the border guard post, too, there weren't many chances to handle rifles because bullets were strictly controlled. Noah hadn't fired a single shot in 6 months, let alone wielded such a high-grade weapon. At best, he could only identify the various parts of the rifle. He was better off using his machete rather than this gun, but you never know when it could come in handy. Suddenly, 2 gunshots rang out from up ahead. Startled, Noah snatched up the rifle and charged forward. Just then, he spotted a distant figure firing a gunshot before diving and rolling to the side. A 3-round burst of bullets struck right where that figure had been mere seconds ago. A fraction slower, and that person would have certainly perished. Who was this mystery warrior that Noah had seen? Was it a friend or a foe? And more importantly, would Noah live long enough to find out?